The new Irish, the people who are going to create a new world in which we all thrive, because we made some segments about Ireland and the troubles it's going through. Turns out no troubles whatsoever. Everything's fine. Everything's been going fine up until a couple of nights ago. And finally something went wrong. Some people came and burned down a bus. Truly the worst crime that has ever happened to Ireland. Anyway, moving on. So you can see here, this is what I'm talking about, which is a bunch of people, I will need a mouse actually, decided that they would tell us about their views since there was some troubles. And their views since the actual problem Ireland has ever faced, which is this recent bus burning. You can see here some people responded, disgusted at how these people burnt that bus down. Truly the worst crime. I'm going to town to get my nails done by an amazing nail teach from China.
Tech.
Then I'm going to dinner in my favorite Indian restaurant, and we'll head to a gig where I've met the same Polish bouncers I've known since I was 16, and then grab a taxi. Immigrants are Dublin.
The one weird thing there, I'm not surprised at the weird progressivism, obviously, because I've seen a lot of it. You've known a Polish bouncer since you were 16.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
What?
Also,
I'm sorry, but that's really strange.
just to be pedantic, Dublin predated immigrants. Otherwise,
No,
they wouldn't have had somewhere to come to.
Nope. They founded the New Dublin.
Right.
It's
Atop the immigrants?
the Celts are Indians,
Right.
and we have founded a new land. That is literally how these people think about it.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, there's
do
already
forget.
New Delhi, so was it New Delhi?
But this is why the worst thing to ever happen in Ireland's history is now that bus burning.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is no history before.
That's Ireland's one bus.
Yeah.
It's gone.
What are you going to do now? You see, this guy came out and said, went to town earlier, immigrants everywhere. One of them drove me on the Lewis. Another one served me tea. 2 more of them served me lunch. 6 of them served me by, sucking his dick. It's okay, fine. You're amazed. You're amazed that the immigrant slave race have turned up and are now serving you your coffee and Pret. Truly what they are for. What else
Yeah,
are these people?
It's almost like the native Irish could be doing these jobs.
It's also the fact that they name sort of jobs that teenagers would have typically done. I think I heard Gavin McInnes say this, that the immigrants coming over and just stealing teenagers' jobs.
Yeah.
Because that's, these sort of menial sort of coffee shop or bar jobs. That's what I got started on,
Actually,
get a foot in the door, and it just makes it difficult for young people.
Actually,
oh, here we go.
they're all consultants for the NHS.
Hi folks, sorry to interrupt the video, but I just wanted to announce that we have a new line of merch in our merch store. The merch store was kind of empty for a while, and so I thought, right, okay, what do I actually want on shirts? And so I just went through some of the most epic and true things that I think that historical people have said, and John managed to make an amazing set of merch out of it. And we will have extra things coming in the store, such as posters for these to go on. Thanks for everything, folks. Now back to the video.
You can see here, Davis came out and said, I was set upon by a gang of immigrants in Dublin yesterday. They gave me a triple heart bypass and saved my life. Amazing. Truly amazing.
It sounds like he actually just stole a heart from a group of immigrants.
But my point being, as you can see here, the response to the worst event in all of Ireland's history, a bus being burnt, is that a lot of people have just decided that immigrants are essentially some kind of slaves. I mean, you can just import them or deport them at will, and they are here to do what? To serve us, to give us our coffee, to drive us from place to place. What else are they for? They're not humans. They're basically just things I use. And as you can see...
That's what they're saying. Yeah, you're not saying that.
Yeah, this is
just to clarify.
Literal opinion, because you can see, I mean, this guy puts it perfectly. Whether it's nails at curry, a taxi, or a triple heart bypass, Irish liberal globalist elites, in their attempt to defend open borders and plantation this week, have revealed their sympathy, that they simply view immigrants as servants. When it comes down to it, they don't even mention the supposed cultural enrichment, learning about Chinese culture, Hindu values, or Brazilian history. It's literally just about having cheap, abundant, mailable labor to serve them up to a luxurious urban lifestyle at a price they can afford. Perfect.
It's like the floating trays of drinks that you get described in Great Gatsby, because the omission of the description of the people serving said drinks implies that the wealthy people that are attending the parties just don't consider them at all. And it's the same attitude.
Yeah.
It just somehow the immigrant class materializes goods to me.
They just do. They just come out of the ether, and they all become consultants for the health service or taxi drivers. There's some gap in between there, would have thought, but never mind. This is obviously also a lie. Just the whole thing about, like, oh, we need immigrants, or I don't know, the Irish won't be able to get heart bypasses. It's just not true. we've done this previously, but I want to mention it for anyone new. The NHS data is available in the House of Commons Library, a notorious far-right outlet. And they detail here, for example, that 25.6% of the UK population are non-British, and only 19% of NHS staff are non-British. Of course, that also includes everyone doing cleaning jobs, etc., and it includes London, which is a whole other situation.
Miriam Cates was asking Robert Jenrick, who's immigration minister, yesterday in the Commons, and she said, okay, we've given out 11,000 healthcare visas in the last year, and it's only reduced something like 1,000 vacancies.
So it's not really working.
70,000 healthcare visas, and it's reduced 11,000 vacancies. That was it. So
1 in 7 people actually took the job.
Yeah.
The rest of them, I don't know, just delivery drivers now, I guess.
I don't think I've ever even come across someone who wasn't British in the NHS. I know I used it in the West Country and have not, used it since.
It's common in London.
Well, it's just one of these lies that we get told endlessly. It's like, well, without immigrants, the whole NHS would fail. So, well, I'm sorry, they actually are underrepresented in terms of the population. So there you are.
And they're overrepresented in use without ever having paid into the system.
But getting back to the migrant slave class, as you can see here, someone came out and just did a brilliant rebuttal of the Irish far right. He says, today, I was served my lunch by an immigrant. Sorry, I can't even read that without him being like some opulent billionaire who just has the slaves.
I do like the Roland rat beneath depicting him as C-3PO being worshipped by the Ewoks.
Yeah, he says he was served his lunch by an immigrant down south, and then the coffee came. It came on floating trays, as you say. Met a concierge in a hotel who was an immigrant and had 3 hardworking immigrant lads in my house. What were they doing?
Were you sitting in the corner chair?
They were putting up wardrobes, were they? Had a new kitchen. They are all amazing and lovely people, as well as hard workers.
Okay, but one of them stabbed a child.
Pictured here. No. I'm sorry. That's not a real problem. The real problem is the bus was burnt down. God damn it. How else are my slaves going to get to my kitchen? These responses. It's just like, yes, master. Serve you lunch, master. I'll make a coffee, master. It's just unbelievable. I love living in a caste system that places me at the top while the immigrant servants take care of my needs and also keep the wages too low for anyone else to actually live off. Thanks for that. Cheers. Yeah, it just goes on. Again, average Irishman.
I do find the argument, the left are the real racists. It can be quite a boring argument, but in this case, it is kind of hilarious, isn't it?
Well, it's that comical thing, because it's just, you literally sit around pretending you're this. I'm presuming that the entire Irish population is this.
Aristocratic vampires.
I mean,
yes.
I'm like that, immigration or not anyway, so
but
can't help it.
That is true. You're an aristocratic vampire. There we are. Some more Irishmen. Just average Irishmen. and this is the thing about the elites. This conversation you have in the populist right, let's say, in which you talk about the elites and how they're out of touch and so forth. I kind of get bored of it sometimes because you hear it a lot. But then you actually see these people and their thoughts, in which they literally think like this is the life that all Irish people live. It's like, no, there's literally just you and your friends, you and your rich friends, who literally treat migrants as slaves. I mean, you literally sit around and like, oh, yes, he made me lunch. And then I had my boys, they came around and made me coffee as well.
It's a luxury belief system. It means that they solely benefit from it and they're insulated from the consequences which accrue at the bottom of the social hierarchy.
The funny thing is, if you go to some of the best places, a lot of the staff are European. There is that as well. Like you go to, a Michelin star restaurant, or you go to a really expensive hotel. And
all right, we might want to move on, Callum. You're being a bit near the mark now, mate.
Oh, God. It's so ridiculous, these people, though. Like, you literally, I'm sorry, how do you write that? He's not even deleted it. I archived this just in case he did. Just goes on touring with his life. Just there we are. Normal guy, having a wonderful time. Why? Because I treat the new people as slaves, and aren't we all having fun? That's actually how you see the world. I do love that this is literally South Park IRL. I don't know if you've seen this episode. It's called Goobacks.
I don't watch it.
In which a bunch of people from the future, where the future's terrible, decide to time travel to the old world, back to South Park 1,000 years before. And of course, loads and loads of them do. And of course, it's fine because they're making me lunch, serving my coffee. What could go wrong? And then obviously there's a massive housing crisis. There's a massive crisis in supply of goods. There's a massive crisis in the fact that they don't just take the sandwich job that the kids wanted, the teenagers, as you rightfully say, they move on to everyone else as well. And then Randy loses his job, and then it's a real problem. But I do love this. This is timeless. Like things like this, I love to archive. Put in a little folder I have on my laptop because it never ends. I mean, you
This
can see,
is iconic, isn't it?
yeah, the old classic here. I suppose we'll re-enjoy.
Here who works in London, who would be serving our coffee in Pret? Who would be selling us our sandwiches in Pret? You're not going to get English people.
Look at her! Look at her little clap! Just like, yes, queen! Queen, who else will be my slave? It's like, okay, this is how you think about this whole situation. My God, are you out of touch? And it goes on and on. I just love. I mean, I love Paul Just Watson's response. F borders and security and S because immigrant in Pet made my coffee. I mean, it really is just timeless. Yeah, people will never forget Pret Lady because, God, she's good fun. But then there's the other ones. I just want to remind people, just have some oldies but goldies.
If you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
Oh, that's no.
In the sense that, you know what I mean? Like, when I'm saying that
there's more jobs to be
in LA, they
Immediate
always
backpedal.
But
they don't.
Latinos are not only the
No,
only people
I didn't mean it
doing
like that. Come on. No, I would never mean it like that.
Okay.
Like, I'm not part of this argument with...
I think what you're
Even the people on the view are like, hang on a minute, that's too far.
Maybe shut up because you don't know what you're talking about. But I love how this is endless and timeless. And this response to the new Irish has got to be the most beautiful thing that came out of this terrible conflict of a bus getting burnt down. You can see here as well, obviously, just, I'm sorry, I don't know why this has to be presented, but let's take a look at rent. Let's look at housing supply. And you notice a pattern, which is, as you can see here, this is from the Irish Times. Dublin is now the 4th most expensive city for headline apartment rents in Europe. Okay. Well, okay, everyone's feeling the burden. No. It's relatively affordable for high-end executive apartments, though. The guy earlier, the vampire aristocrats, not affected. Literally not affected. And then that's why they sit around tweeting crap like that. Why Donald Trump won't have someone to wipe his toilet.
Well,
Because-
that was Kelly Osbourne, who's the daughter of Ozzy Osbourne. So, yeah, she's had a pretty cushy life.
But
Although
there's-
a reality TV show.
But there's like a specific example where we can see it's not just because these people are all like mental cases. I mean, they are out of touch. I mean, that's what happens when you become a rich mental case anyway. But sincerely, it doesn't really affect them. Like in the same way. I mean, as Dublin becomes completely unlivable for the average person, the person who's not average, well, nothing's changed. They're still rich. The luxury apartments haven't changed that much. It's fine.
Well, many people who are already rich have gotten a lot richer since, the dawn of mass immigration.
They're the ones profiting, which is why they
Yeah.
love their slaves. Slavery is good for them. Okay, not for me. I don't like it. As you can see here, I also love just the endless memes about like, man, we need immigrants because who will pick the crops? And they just remind people that's not how farming works anymore. So there you go. Look,
A machine will.
yes. I don't know why that's a mad idea. Maybe we should do an industrial revolution. I mean, is that really the purview of the far right now? Innovation?
Yeah.
Productivity? That's it?
God forbid menial labor be replaced by technology.
Yeah, this just goes on. And I have to end this off with some people who I guess
Oh,
will never
Bella.
learn. Bella Wallersteiner. My new favorite person, because I think that Labour MP is, whose name I forget now. My favorite Labour MP, what was her name?
Claudia Webb.
There we are. She's fell into the realm of obscurity. Bella has now taken her place as my queen of people who are dumb. Because you see here, she endlessly talks about the fact that we needed mass immigration, and then she was like, hang on a minute, the Israeli embassy, I can't pay my respects. And I was hoping she'd have learned something. I was be like, all right, some growth, some people here. No, she's right back at it again. Let's be clear. If we stop legal immigration, we would need to raise taxes or cut public services or both. Immigrants help grow the economy. It's
It's not even true.
It's not even slightly true.
Do you want to be really depressed? Do you know who this person is?
Not really.
She's one of the lead Conservative Party staffers.
Okay. I thought she was a nobody.
Nope.
All right. Yeah. Cool. Because, it's not true, Bella. An idiot. Because as you can see here, we covered this before, but just look at the data.
Fraser Nelson as well. Lovely.
Yeah, Fraser Nelson has decided that mass migration is actually great, and then people just started sending him the government's own data.
He said this at a parliamentary event I was at 2 weeks ago. He cited the fact that we have a Muslim mayor of London, a Muslim Scottish First Minister, a Hindu Prime Minister.
They're all doing a terrible job as well.
Exactly.
I was going to say, of all the people you could pick,
Yeah.
it's like, aren't things
He said-
so great?
He literally said, well, we're in London. It seems to be working fairly well.
Really? They're serving you their coffee and Pret, are they?
Yeah.
He said wearing a stab vest, paying £100 for a cup of coffee.
Yeah. But you can see here just the data as well. Like Bangladesh is here. They're overrepresented, the people who claim disability. Not just them, Pakistanis and so forth. The Chinese at the right bottom there. And it goes on. This is unemployment claims by ethnic group. Again, data exists. I don't know why I need to say this.
72% of Somalis in Britain are on social housing.
Yeah. This is
I feel
last one
so
I mentioned.
enriched by this. My bank account is really benefiting from this.
This breaks down by some ethnic groups, but it's not the full data. And you rightfully say, of the Somalis here, 72% of them get houses for free from us, taxpayers.
I think it's
But they're growing the economy.
I think it's 44% black and minority ethnics in London also get social housing as well.
I love
44
taxes.
black
Taxes are so good. I think they're so important.
The Indians, obviously, are growing the economy. The Chinese, yes, they are growing the economy. It's not everyone. It's just not everyone. Just Bella, if you, I don't know. God, I didn't know she actually had a position of power. Why is that the case? Wow.
The white gypsy and traveller doesn't even have a bar at all.
I don't think I got counted. I mean, you want to go count them?
Yeah, but no, but
rude.
hang on. The reason they don't take social housing is because they're travelling around in caravans, Josh.
I would have expected at this point the government would allocate them a caravan.
There's also, I have noticed a lot of people, I think Vice did a few documentaries on this that were quite good, weirdly enough, where they kept meeting families who have social housing. A social house is a marijuana farm. They literally rent out their house to a drug dealer, and he just grows marijuana in there, and they live somewhere else. Because obviously the drug dealer pays them a boatload of money to rent that.
So they've got a free house which they then use to grow drugs.
Yes. So the drug dealer will
that's
pay
nice.
them like $4,000 a week or something. So they live somewhere else. They just need to file the paperwork for the drug dealer to organize. Anyway,
I'm clearly doing the wrong job.
you are indeed. Drug dealing is a lucrative business, but I do not endorse it.
How did I not know about this?
But this is something I didn't know, and this is Tucker Carlson did an interview with Steve Bannon, and in here, Roland mentions that Ireland has taken over 150,000 immigrants in the past year, all of them on the dole, says Steve Bannon here. And I don't know what his source is for that, but it is definitely is overrepresented, as the UK data shows. It's not unusual. Maybe you can go back to the unemployment data here if you want those precise figures. And I wanted to, I don't know, like reform the country, Bella. But never mind. Why bother? And the last thing to mention here, just getting to the US. I love all those taxes we're saving. Remember all those taxes we said she was saving?
Yeah, I think all the savings for all that money going towards hotels as well, for the illegal ones, as they're talking about here.
Well, don't worry, the migrants pay for it with money they take.
They bring positive vibes to the country, which is not financially quantifiable, but it has a positive growth effect on the economy.
Well, this is Fox News reporting that the United States taxpayers are now paying $451 billion US dollars per year on housing and care for illegal migrants.
Well, they get nearly 3 million illegal border crossings every year. That's why.
That is
It's
an
absurd.
incomparable amount of money for me.
I mean, we're paying nearly 6 million quid a day.
Well, at least I can figure that. Like, I could spend 6 million.
It's nearly $500 billion, yeah.
$500 billion. And the thing is, do you want to guess how many minutes of NHS spending that is?
10
The real
minutes?
metric?
Go on.
5 minutes.
It's 2.5 years.
Wow. Okay.
So I don't know if people know. We usually do like, oh, there's this yacht that costs £1 billion or whatever, or some other BS corruption scandal, and then people post that's 2.5 minutes of NHS spending because the NHS is so expensive. I forget just how much money is wasted in the United States, and you can see it right there. But I'm sure they'll pay it back in their taxes.
Which
Somehow.
are also theft. I couldn't resist.
Taxes are indeed theft.
Oh,
But I want to
Is it
turn this
tonight?
off because it seems nothing has been done. That's the outcome of this. I mean, you can see Politico. This is the best headline you could possibly put because, of course, Dublin riots. The PM vows to punish racists responsible as immigrants fear more attacks. Not a single immigrant has been stabbed. A native. Not a single immigrant has been killed. Not a single immigrant was harmed. In fact, a bus was harmed in the making of the.
it's almost like they're using the stabbing of a child to pursue political goals that they've already had, which is crush their political enemies and or normal people who are concerned about immigration.
Yeah, but I do love the new Irish. They are the ones who are truly at fear, which of course is a good, just meme to describe the situation at this point. Immigrants most affected.
I was so scared of
immigrant stabbing
Irish politics that I had to stab a child.
Yeah, but
Hello, Lotus, is out of context.
Yeah, I knew it as I was saying it.
But to fix that difference in at least my mind, where you saw the reality and then the response being something as crazy as everything is fine. This is why. I mean, literally, as you can see from the previous chaps who were just like, but everything's great. I got my coffee served. I then got someone to drive me around. They literally don't care. And Dankula asked the question, how many children do have to be stabbed before we admit that maybe there's a bit of a problem? As many as it takes seems to be the response, because as long as I get my coffee at Pret, they don't care. Literally their own words. Their response to this entire tragedy was to sit around talking about how, well, their slaves are doing great for them, so what's the problem? If you appreciated that episode from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Brokenomics series, this episode on Confessions of an Economic Hitman. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Twitter at lotuseaters_com on Twitter. Thank you and goodbye.